This is a meditation for Wednesday of Holy Week. It's based on John chapter 13, verses 21 through 32. This is a meditation I wrote several years ago for the commentary series, Feasting on the Word. After saying this, Jesus was troubled in spirit and declared, "Very truly I tell you, one of you will betray me." The disciples looked at one another, uncertain of whom he was speaking. One of the disciples, the one whom Jesus loved, was reclining next to him. Simon Peter therefore motioned to him to ask Jesus of whom he was speaking. So while reclining next to Jesus, he asked him, "Lord, who is it?" Jesus answered, "It's the one to whom I give this piece of bread when I have dipped it in the dish." So when he had dipped the piece of bread, he gave it to Judas, son of Simon Iscariot. After he received the piece of bread, Satan entered into him. And Jesus said to him, "Do quickly what you're going to do." Now no one at the table knew why he said this to him. Some thought that because Judas has the common purse, Jesus was telling him, "Buy what you need for the festival," or that he should give something to the poor. So after receiving the piece of bread, he immediately went out, and it was night. When he had gone out, Jesus said, "Now the Son of Man has been glorified, and God has been glorified in him. If God has been glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself, and will glorify him at once." This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. The stakes get higher and higher as we make our way with Jesus through Holy Week. The final stories of Jesus' last days before his crucifixion and death are intense. The passage for this Wednesday of Holy Week is a story of personal betrayal. The modern listener is quite likely to have experienced betrayal in one form or another. Whether one has been betrayed or has in fact betrayed another can influence how we respond to this story. Jesus and his disciples are reclining around the table when Jesus becomes troubled in spirit. His thoughts move from the importance of humble acts of love embodied in the washing of feet to the sting of betrayal. "Very truly, I tell you, one of you will betray me." The disciples are stunned. One of us will betray Jesus? Surely not one of us. We are his disciples, the ones whom he has called, the ones who have said yes, the ones who have been with him day in and day out. If someone's going to betray Jesus, it's going to be one of them, not one of us. They look around the table, seeking a sign. Is someone smirking? Does someone have a guilty look upon his or her face? Who is averting their eyes? The suspense is killing them. Jesus has not shared the identity of the betrayer. Finally, the disciple whom Jesus loved pries it out of him, and Jesus tells them that the betrayer is the one who will eat of the bread that he dips. Amazingly, Judas accepts the bread from Jesus and then immediately leaves to do the dirty work of betrayal. Also amazing is the fact that the other disciples still do not understand what Jesus has said and what's happening at that very hour. They hear Jesus' words. They see Judas accept the morsel and depart. They just cannot wrap their minds around the thought that Judas is off to betray Jesus. Surely he must be off handling administrative details related to the coming festival. If not then perhaps he's off helping the poor. This is the kind of behavior they expect from Judas. The disciples are living these events day by day. We who live them on the other side of the crucifixion and resurrection have always known Judas Iscariot as the one who betrayed Jesus. The disciples, on the other hand, do not know that at this time. Betrayal always comes as a shock. If you could see betrayal coming, you might be able to arm yourself or defend yourself. The very essence of betrayal comes with the surprise. The sting of betrayal hurts precisely because we cannot imagine this friend or this family member or this coworker treating us like that. We read this story. We could be consoled a little bit if all the disciples had known that Judas was the betrayer. Of course it was Judas. Remember the time when obviously it was Judas. He never really fit in. He's not like the rest of us. Judas was just a bad apple. We like to believe that people who are capable of this kind of betrayal are such horrible human beings that everyone would know and be on guard. That's simply not the case. Only Jesus knew the heart and mind of Judas. Everyone else apparently thought he was just a regular guy. When a crime is committed today, folks who live near the perpetrator are often shocked by what they learn. When the reporters talk to the neighbors, you hear them the same story over and over again. He seemed like a real nice guy. I never would have thought that he could do that. He lived right next door. Scary. Many people in our churches will know the sting of betrayal firsthand. It comes in the form maybe of a gambling addiction or an extramarital affair. Maybe the betrayer says, I never loved you in the first place. Perhaps it's the relative who pawns the family heirlooms to buy drugs. Maybe it's the financial advisor who takes your retirement money and runs. Perhaps the betrayer shared with others what you had shared in confidence. The betrayer may be in the company where you worked for years as a loyal employee, only to find yourself in the unemployment line. Maybe the betrayer stole your childhood. Maybe the betrayer is the lover who sent you to the emergency room with a bloody face. To be betrayed is to be vulnerable to a unique kind of pain. It can take many years to recover from the sting of betrayal. In our pews, there may be people whose hearts are still raw and in need of healing and wholeness. The betrayal of Jesus may touch upon this pain and present opportunities for us to care for one another. The other painful reality in proclaiming this text is the realization that if the disciples could not see the betrayal coming from Judas, maybe those who betray are not the demons we imagine them to be. Those who would betray are a lot more like you and like me. It's easy to look down our noses at Judas and imagine us among the other 11 disciples. As painful as it is, we must admit that we also are capable of betraying those we love, including our Lord. In an era when prayers of confession are considered by some to be passé or depressing, we must hold fast to the Christian understanding of sin and acknowledge the pervasiveness of sin in our lives. All have sinned and fall short of the glory of God, the Apostle Paul proclaims in the book of Romans, chapter 3, verse 23. The good news of the gospel is that by God's grace, we are forgiven. The Good Friday cross is good news for all of us who, like Judas, have betrayed both our friends and our God. The resurrection of Jesus is good news for those who seek the wholeness and healing from the sting of betrayal. Amen.